Welcome to Eat and Drink in the Neighborhood. Where we find local bakers, culinary hobbyists, chefs around Aurora, and we shine a spotlight on them. I'm your host, Christopher Svab, and today I'm joined by Marianne Svab. Is there a relation? Who knows? So, Marianne, would you like to talk about your delicious-looking cake you brought us here today? And we'll even go over your past baking adventures and maybe some family recipes. And again, this beautiful-looking cake, which I cannot wait to eat later.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I love to bake. This is a traditional, it's actually my great-grandmother's recipe. It's a traditional zucchini cake with cream cheese icing, and I put my own tradition in it by putting a little bit of lemon zest.
Lemon zest. How do you make lemon zest?
Well, what you do is you get a grater, and depending what the recipe calls for, small, medium, or large, I use the tiniest one, and you just grate the outside of a lemon really, really fine, so you just get that zing.
So what kind of preparation went into making this specific cake?
Well, first, you have to obviously buy the ingredients, but first, what I do is I love to start by getting the oven warmed up. And then once I do that, I butter the pan, and then I take out all the ingredients like the eggs, the sugar, the salt, the baking soda, baking powder, whatever it needs. And then the eggs have to, every baker is different. I like to keep my eggs a little bit at room temperature for a little bit because it makes it more easier to work with and more elasticy.
Interesting. And what kind of zucchinis are these? Because I know that in the backyard, people love to grow zucchinis.
Yes.
I know my grandmother, my nonna, her zucchinis were like this big. Every year without fail, she'd always say, Christopher, big zucchinis for you and your family. So is that what the same kind of zucchini, like massive zucchinis?
Yes, actually, that's why it's traditional. All the zucchinis we grow in the backyard because we have a bunch of herbs and not a lot of vegetables, but this is one of my main ones that I love. If you're using the smaller zucchini, you don't have to do anything with it but cut off the tips and grate it. But if you're using the big giant ones, which we sometimes grow in the backyard, you have to take out the seeds before grating because you don't want to like crunch into a seed while you're eating the zucchini cake.
Break a tooth while eating zucchini cake. Like what's that about?
Nonna zucchini.
So inside, it's eggs, flour, obviously zucchini, but any other ingredients in there that you're hiding from us?
Well, actually cinnamon. Oh. Cinnamon gives it a little bit of a pop. Not just vanilla, because people sometimes think cinnamon is, just for gingerbread cookies, but it's not. Cinnamon is used a lot in baking, and it's more to just give it a pop.
So in a cake, what other aspects do you make it to make it look so fluffy? It's a fluffy cake. It looks very delicious.
Yep, you're right. And what I do is, besides the eggs being left out for a tiny bit, not too long, you also have to beat them at a certain time. Like some recipes call for beat for 2 minutes, beat for 3 minutes. And actually, that's the right thing to do. Because some people just throw everything in, give it a whirl, and throw it in the pan. No, it has to look fluffy, kind of like a whipped. Like when you whip butter.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Butter and sugar together, it's like fluffy. And some recipes, actually, you have to put the eggs separated first, whip them, and then put the sugar after. Every recipe is a little bit different, but that can also make or break a cake.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's even baking at a certain time of day.
Yes, actually. Even the altitude makes a difference. I noticed since I've moved to Aurora, which I love, I find that the altitude here is really good for baking, and the warmth. The afternoon is the best time for baking because everything heats up and it makes it grow quicker, faster, and better. But again, every baker's different. That's my opinion.
Okay. And with your opinion and your upcoming baking competition, we know that you won in the past.
I did.
Your delicious pumpkin pie. How are you going to take those lessons of like baking and apply it to this new competition?
Well, over the years, I say I got better because I've been baking since my mom, my grandmother, great-grandmother, since 4 or 5 years old. They had us all helping them in the kitchen. But I just think that over the years, I've just developed certain techniques that I feel like I got better. And it's been more trickier because I have a son with a peanut nut allergy. So I had to be extra careful, but extra creative with some of my recipes.
So your cakes and every other baking thing you have, they're all peanut free.
All peanut free. Even my house is peanut free.
And nut free too.
Yeah.
So with this upcoming baking competition, what exactly is the competition?
Well, it's the Canadian Baking and Sweets Show. It's in Mississauga at the International Center, and they have it every year. And believe it or not, I was one of the very first contestants when it first started. And it was my kids who encouraged me to do it because they love my baking, and so did all their friends. And my husband said, do it. You never know. So I did a pumpkin pie, and I took a chance, and they seemed to love it, and I won first place.
That pumpkin pie, obviously you won first place. You got the grand prize, and you still use that grand prize today.
I do.
And so basically what I'm trying to get at here is, with this pumpkin pie, how delicious is it? And what made it win? What do you think made it win?
I think besides the fact that it was simple, it was my grandmother's recipe. It was very simple. My sister carried on the tradition. And when she heard that my kids, had the peanut nut allergy, she uses it for her kindergarten class and said, try it. And it's very simple, very plain, but you can put your own spices in it to make it pop. So I put in different spices. And the other thing I think makes a difference is people tend to use fat-free stuff, like fat-free cream or fat-free condensed milk. But sometimes you just have to say, let it go, use it. And just if you don't, just take a small piece instead of a big piece.
Okay.
But it's worth it.
Okay. And looking back, you competed and you won. What was the experience like at that baking competition?
Very nervous because, people, especially moms and women in general, you always worry people aren't going to like your cooking, like your food. You get really scared when you throw dinner parties. But it meant the world that somebody actually loved, and it was award-winning that I made something. It was like an accomplishment.
What was the overall feeling that you had when you won? When they called you and said, Marianne Svab?
Oh, it was nothing like you can explain. It was just like boom, like yay!
So, because you won, and you didn't enter all the other years, did you?
No, I didn't.
So what made you want to enter again this year?
Well, I was really busy raising 2 kids, and they were sons who had a lot of energy. So I never really had the time running around with all the sports that they did. But this year, things have calmed down. One has graduated. The other one's, busy with school still. But I thought, you know what? I just felt like some of my cakes lately with all the tradition and because my mom passed away, I feel like let the world see all those beautiful traditional cakes, which people don't make anymore. They just make chocolate, vanilla, you know, the simple thing. But, you know, we're forgetting all the stuff that includes vegetables and stuff our grandparents made. And they were awesome back then. And I think we should keep it going.
I agree totally. You know, you don't want any recipes to get lost in time.
Yeah.
And you don't want them just to collect dust on a shelf in a recipe book.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. So how does it feel going into the competition this year as a previous champion? Is it more pressure or it's still, you know, I'm Marianne. I'm awesome.
It's still pressure.
I'm awesome. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
it's still pressure because I haven't done it in so many years. And now I find a lot of people just want the sugar part of it. It's like, you know, those fancy cakes that have the flat sugar, which is all sugar. And yeah, they look nice and yeah, they look beautiful, but is it really half the people I see, they're peeling off all that sugar. They're peeling off all the, you know, the design. And it's like, well, what's the point if you can't eat the cake with the icing? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go in there, show them what I have, all my traditional recipes. And if I win, I win. I'm just doing it more just to have some fun.
Okay. And, you know, a lot of these competitions, it's not just about the taste, it's about the aesthetic of the cookies or cake or pie. So how does creativity or how will creativity play a role in your next submission?
Well, when you see, for example, when you're eating something and you see a beautiful plate with a beautiful fork and the right glass with it, like something really designed properly that looks sexy, it's like it's going to make you want to eat it more. That came out the wrong way, but you know what I mean. It's
yes,
like,
I know what you mean.
If it looks good,
people will eat it.
It's going to make you want to eat it.
Yes.
And whether it's a fake top or all sugar, it's still going to make you want to bite into it.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's when you look at, like, if you go to a restaurant, right? You get this beautiful plate, and here's like the steak dinner with the vegetables, and it's very clean, right? Would you eat at a restaurant that has a dirty looking plate?
No.
There you go, right? So with all that, it's with the cakes. Let's focus on cakes right now, because I don't want to reveal what you're going to enter.
Yeah, no, it's a surprise.
It's a surprise. We're going to have you back on the show after the competition. So how do you kind of envision what your cake will look like?
Sometimes it just comes to me, but sometimes it's pressure. Like at the last minute, sometimes I can come up with the most unique things. It's not always I'm planning it out. There are times I do and times I don't. Sometimes it's right at the last 10 minutes before I got to get the cake ready for somebody. I slap on a few extra things and, you know, boom, looks good.
So was there a favorite sort of dessert you have baked in the past year? Like one that you saw and be like, yeah, that's my best cake I've made all year.
Yes. So this is just a lemon zucchini cake with cream cheese icing. But the one I really loved this year that I made was the chocolate zucchini. I didn't make it today because I wanted to show you a traditional zucchini cake first, but chocolate zucchini, out of this world. Out of this world.
In the chocolate zucchini, is there chocolate chips? Like there's a lot of stuff. And like what's the difference between a traditional zucchini cake and your delicious chocolate zucchini cake?
Well, the traditional zucchini is just like simple, you know, eggs, flour, sugar, and you can replace by the way, the sugar with the honey, half a cup of honey to make it more nutritional. But with the chocolate, you put cocoa, pure cocoa.
Interesting.
And then if the kids want, you put in a few chocolate chips or nuts, if they can have nuts.
Yes.
And that'll make it like out of this world.
Really? And, let's go back to the competition for 1 second. What is the competition? Like, what are you going to submit? Don't reveal what you're going to submit, but like, what's the overall competition? Like, what is the category for this year?
Well, every year it changes. And this year it's a wedding cake, a themed cake, which means it could be like Halloween. It could be like a cake for birthday. It could be whatever you choose it to be. And they also have 2 kinds of cookies, 2D and 3D. So what that means is 2D is like, a flat cookie, like shortbread.
Okay.
3D is like you can even do, the chunky chocolate chip or the chunky oatmeal. And somehow this year they say that it's got to make something like a structure. So you have to make the cookies come together to form something. So that's going to be quite interesting. I don't know if I'm going to do as good this year because it's a little more intricate and complicated, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to try.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how will you basically, you talk a lot about family here, right? A lot of traditional ideas. So how will you take a traditional idea and make it into a sort of like a 3D shape? Like, what's going to inspire you to like figure out what shape you want to make?
Tradition is what's going to drive me to make either the cake or the cookie. So I'm going to be using some traditional recipes. And then the structure is basically going to be something that I think I can put together with it. It could be something from anywhere from, I don't know, like a pumpkin or, making something like a gingerbread house. That's what they mean by putting something together. So I'm not quite sure yet without giving it away.
You're not quite sure, or you're just hiding your secrets from me? I don't know.
A little bit of both.
So, with the family thing, it's who are you baking for in your heart?
In my heart, I'm baking for my kids and my husband. Because you know what? Since they were little, I've been passing on to tradition. They've actually helped me bake since they were little. And all the way up to even now, they'll say, Mom, we're in the mood of a cake. If I'm tired, I'll say, go grab my recipe book, and they'll take it and go make something. So that kind of drives me to keep making my cakes. And it also makes everybody else, second family, like sisters, brothers, niece, nephews, so happy when they get one of my cakes. So happy.
So I think it's time we cut into that cake.
Cut it open.
We've been talking a lot about cakes, right? So it's just sitting there. Yes. And we should cut it open and give it a try and see. And we'll talk about like the taste, the flavorness, and the whole structure of the cake.
Okay. Do you want to cut it or do you want me to?
No, I'll let you cut it. I'll let you cut it.
I'm not going to cut it the way I always cut it. So today I'm just going to put a little piece in.
Of course, yeah.
This way we can try it out. So I cut the cake. And traditionally, the best way to cut these kinds of cakes, especially if they're huge, is to put a complete circle in the middle. So this way everybody gets an even piece. So that's how they do it at weddings and that's how they do it at parties. See? Even piece. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the actual little zucchini in there.
Look at that. You can.
Yep.
I'll trade you. It looks very delicious right now.
Soft and fluffy.
It does. It looks very soft and fluffy. And ready?
We're going to try it together?
Yeah.
I hope you like it.
I always do. All right.
You know what you need with this?
Coffee.
A nice espresso.
Oh, yeah. That's delicious.
Or a latte.
That's very delicious. It's very nice. It's not hard. It's very moist. It's very soft. It almost melts in your mouth. Same with the tasting of the cream cheese. I can taste the lemon. I can taste the cream cheese. And it just has a good combo that is just Out of this world.
You see how the lemon gives it the zing?
I do.
And you don't taste the zucchini.
No, not at all.
No, but that's what gives it the moistness too. It's the zucchini. But if you put too much zucchini, then it'll be a little too wet, if that makes sense.
Any final thoughts before we end this delicious episode?
I hope I win. But even if I don't, I'm going to have a lot of fun because I know a lot of people love my baking and my cooking. So hopefully I'll be back with some kind of win.
Everyone, wish Marianne luck.
Yay!